Welcome, friends. Let us together rebuild this world so that we may live, laugh, and lore.
I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold.
Not listening. I'm not listening.
Oh, that took.
Program loaded and ready.
Make it so.
Welcome to the Live, Laugh, Lore podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Tony.
And I'm Mark.
And today we have...
Lord of the Rings this time around. You ready for this, Tony?
I think so. We should have came in watching all of them back to back to back. Special extended Blu-ray edition. We didn't do that. Sorry.
It's true.
Time gets in the way.
The only way to do it is extended edition, though.
And back to back to back to
Yeah.
back. Yeah. You should feel bad at the end. Your soul is filled. Your corporeal body, though, is at a rough state.
Yes.
But, yeah, so, Mark, you're going to bring it to us, the main topic?
Yes, so our main topic today, we're doing another what if. Merry and Pippin were actually taken to Isengard. So if you remember correctly, at the end of the first movie, the Fellowship gets raided by a bunch of Uruk-hai.
Who do you fight for? Saruman. Yeah. Uruk-hai. The White Hand.
Yes, and it ends there, but the Two Towers picks up with them being taken to Isengard.
Yep.
And if you remember the movies and the books correctly, they are saved. Not really saved, but the Uruk-hai are ambushed by the Rohirrim, and they manage to go into Fanghorn Forest, and they meet the Ents.
Yeah, I want to say like dumb luck, but
Yeah, kinda.
Literary luck.
Yes. So this what if is if they were not ambushed by the Rohirrim, the Uruk-hai made it to Isengard, Saruman found them, realized that neither of them had the ring, and killed them. How would that change the whole world? How would that change the War of the Ring?
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because everyone has their quintessential roles, I think. Personally, I took Merry and Pippin for granted.
Fool of a Took.
Yeah, I was just like, dude, this guy... He almost kills him in the Mines of Moria, dog. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way that they do these huge, momentous things, but when you start actually peeling back this onion, even though we didn't watch all three movies, we did do our notes, and we did do them diligently. And by the way, we've seen all three movies within the last,
Many
year.
times.
Yeah. Countless, honestly.
Yeah.
Together, even more so. It's
Yeah.
actually crazy to think about. Yeah, but my point is that if you even take those two parts away, originally I thought, oh, this is going to be a quick what if, but the second you remove them, stuff kind of really hits the fan. And I think one of the main kind of avenues I would kind of want to talk about first, let's just talk about the pure battle plans, right? Because I think Merry and Pippin do a crazy, wild movement to the overall battle plans for both sides. So I think kind of the first one we kind of want to pick up on is the fact that Isengard is surviving out of this.
Yeah. So in the movie, we all know that. So the Entmoot is the gathering of the Ents where they discuss what their plans are. So in the movie, they took 12 hours to determine that Merry and Pippin are not orcs.
Yeah.
That's business number one
I'm not
to
even
them.
talking about where the Entwives are.
Yes,
They're just
correct.
like, let's just figure out the entity.
Old
guys.
Entish takes very long to talk in.
We just got done saying our hellos.
Yes. So then after that, they discuss, should we go attack Isengard? They decide not to. Again, this is in the movie. And then Merry and Pippin need to take Treebeard to see the chopped down trees and the burned land to get them to fight. In the book, it takes a lot less coercion. They kind of knew about Saruman. They knew about the orcs. They knew that he was kind of bad, but still, they didn't have the big picture of what was really going on. When Merry and Pippin came to Fanghorn Forest, Treebeard asked him, right away, are you orcs? And he believed him when they said no, and then they said they were friends of Gandalf. So he's like, oh, okay, I trust you guys now.
So it's kind of funny. They didn't even need that whole half day for the good mornings and are you an orc?
Yeah.
Like, that was already figured out. Okay.
So he picks him up and was taking him to the Entmoot. And on the way there, Merry and Pippin had told him pretty much everything that had happened up to date. What the War of the Ring is going on now.
Like their backstories.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I don't think they tell him about the ring, but they tell him they were kidnapped by these orcs and Uruk-hai, and Saruman and Sauron are trying to take over the world. And Treebeard is kind of riveted by this story, and that's what they talk about in the Entmoot, and then they decide to march on Isengard.
So he's moved by that story because the Ent are so surprisingly close to their brothers from the... Oh my gosh, why did I do this to myself? I was going to say brothers from the north? northeast. I don't know where the Shire is relative to Fangorn Forest. I'm pretty sure it's northeast.
Yeah.
I think so, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Definitely east, yeah.
Definitely east. I want to say north. But, yeah, my point is that...
Is it west?
I don't know now.
I think the Shire is on the west, right?
You're right. It is
because they
west.
go
It
this
is
way.
west. Yeah, I don't know why I would ever do this myself.
We'll edit it out. So we'll say.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Possibly
or
the
we can
northwest.
Keep this in just for pure, just so people don't feel like we just always have the answers, right? We can also, be very much wrong. But I think they're probably moved by the story because the ents are so relatable to the hobbits. Because it's like, okay, we are these entities that want to stay in our own areas. We love everything that grows. This battle isn't even concerning you. Yet somehow you guys got drawn into this thing? When is it when we're going to get drawn into this?
Right.
And more importantly, what is going to happen for us to get drawn into this? Because something drastic is going to happen. Very much so.
Right. Because as a matter of fact, when in the book, when Merry and Pippin first get in the forest, they completely miss him because the Ents were so disconnected from the outside world, they were starting to fall asleep. And he actually had to wake them up for the Ent moot. And Treebeard was almost asleep too until he found them.
So yeah, that kind of bleeds into the first part, which is Isengard survives, right?
Yes.
So even though I love to think that in the book, without Merry and Pippin's help, Treebeard would kind of see his surroundings, and let's assume Treebeard does rally his forces. All of a sudden, it's a nice Sunday coffee for Gandalf going by. He's like, whoa, wait, Isengard's down? Why is that?
Yeah.
Story-wise, I think it's better if we say they don't happen.
Yep.
Isengard still lives. So what's your thoughts, Mark? Parlay never happens between Saruman and Gandalf.
First of all, there's going to be a lot of things that happen, but if Isengard lives, it's still in full force.
Yeah.
Now there's a war on two fronts for Gondor and Rohan, for the men in general. After Isengard is defeated, they focus mainly on Mordor.
Yep.
But now we got Mordor and Isengard is closer. Well, technically Mordor is, but there's a giant mountain range in front of it. Isengard's more accessible.
Yeah.
So they realize, at least Saruman does, he doesn't have the ring. He's going to start looking harder for Frodo and Sam. Well, I guess he doesn't know.
There's some halfling in the world who knows of the ring.
Yes.
And if Merry and Pippin are this close, what does that mean for the overall company, right?
Yes.
I think that's another thing, too. It's very obvious that they have made their way to Mordor, or at least they're making the trek to it. They're going to start responding.
Yes.
And I think this is going to freak out Saruman. And on top of that, too, kind of important note that since Isengard's still in full prosperity, we know that the Palantir is still in Saruman's hands. So we also know that now even Sauron's not getting information because Pippin, in his curiosity, goes in, grabs a Palantir, looks in it. Whoa, there's a halfling. I know that has a ring. I think it's this halfling. And now our side, the good side, wants to have battle strategies around Pippin with deceiving Sauron, saying, no, Pippin does have this ring. Let's flee to Gondor so he can move all his forces south. So now with that gone, it's both Saruman and Sauron looking at this going, we might have to close down our borders or search a little bit more closely because they're traveling up. They're getting closer. So that drastically changes that war front. I still think Helm's Deep plays out the way it plays out.
Yes, I think so.
Gandalf still grabs the rest of the Rohirrim that got banished during Wormtongue and Theoden's cursed era, right? Eomer and his boys come in. They're able to succeed in Helm's Deep. Do they then march to Isengard? Do they even have the field power to do that? Do they then try to go to Gondor and say, okay, we're hurting. You're not even attacked yet. Can you come to our aid? And then that even might bring up more power struggles with Denethor.
No, that's good, though, because it kind of flips everything. Because Gondor needs Rohan's help, but now we're flipping it. Rohan needs Gondor's help.
Yeah, which kind of stinks because Rohan already needed Gondor's help in the past. Which, fun fact, I would always make a joke in high school, especially in the movies when Theoden goes, where's Gondor when the Eastern Tower fell? Where was Gondor? And so I'd always get really animated when I say that. So now, even to this day, like I'm animated right now, just saying, where's Gondor? Because there's already history between Denethor and Theoden of clearly not supplying help. But is this the time where Denethor is actually going to supply help?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think it fractures them even further.
Yeah.
I really believe that. In Battles of Helm's Deep, elves had to come in. And the only reason why they did that was kind of a tit for tat from Aragorn coming through. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're close friends. Leader of the Elven Company.
Yeah.
Aragorn. Yeah. So
Haldir.
Thank you. Wow. Yeah, nice. I still think there's a war on two fronts. But I think even more so, it's a more divided war. because I don't think Rohan has enough strength to move north. Gosh, I keep using directions. I'm going to stop using directions because I might be wrong. I don't know. But I think
Rohan, I think for Rohan
I think it is. Okay. Yeah, at least
but
for me,
still.
I got that one. I'll be safer. I should be safer. But Rohan, I don't think has the ability to take on Isengard. I really don't think.
I don't think so.
And I don't think Gondor is going to put itself in harm's way.
Because if they help, that gives Mordor an opportunity to attack.
To come down.
Because with the Palantir, Saruman is eventually planning on betraying Sauron, but at this point, he's still buddy-buddy with him.
Correct. Yeah.
Because he doesn't have the ring. He was going to betray him after he got the ring.
Yes, because he felt that he was going to use it for the end goal of good.
Correct. But
which is pretty wild to think
corrupt.
about.
Yeah.
Like, does the end justify the means? Like, that's like the definition of it.
Yeah.
But so we're still assuming buddy-buddy. Wow, that actually adds way deeper of a dynamic. Because is this when Saruman turns coat? I don't think it would. But I'm just saying.
Well, so I think they're unified, Saruman and Sauron, but the men are not. They're all fractured. So it's an uphill battle. You've got Gandalf and Aragorn trying to convince them to unite.
Yep.
But Saruman and Sauron are leagues ahead of them because they already are united. They've got 2 full armies. They could go anywhere they wanted to.
And they can breed these soldiers like none other.
Yeah.
And morality's kind of out the door, so.
Yeah.
Fuel for the fire. Yeah. Yeah, I really think going on to that battle tactics, it's going to bleed itself into a really big war. Because I think we were hitting our main points of Isengard still stands. Rohan is greatly diminished. Don't know what we're going to do. Gondor has no reason to come in and attack because they're scared at their own doorstep with Mordor. I think that Saruman and Sauron can just wait it out. They have the capability and the manpower, orc power, Orcai power, goblin power. Jeez, ring wraith power. There's a lot of powers there.
Correct.
My point is that they can build up their army, wait, and just hopefully infighting occurs. You're right. I don't think Saruman's going to come out and go, I should abandon my really cool partner in my endeavor, Sauron, just so I can turn on him now. He's not going to. The men are too fractured.
Right.
And the elves are already dipping out.
Yep.
So
it doesn't serve him well.
Yeah.
So I think at this point, Gandalf and Aragorn know they have to unite the men. And who better to unite it than the King of Gondor?
Yes.
That portion of it, I think, stays the same.
I still think they'll probably go to Gondor. They're going to try to dethrone, or it's not really usurp because he's just a steward, but you know what I mean. They're going to take out Denethor. And then I think Theoden and Aragorn are on way better terms.
Correct.
And they can be more united.
Now, taking out Denethor becomes tricky.
Way tricky. Because this is like Civil War.
Yeah, if Aragorn just shows up, kills Denethor, and like, I'm the king, people of Gondor probably aren't going to trust him.
No.
They don't have the faith in their king. We don't know you, and you just struck down our leader for as long as my daddy, my great-grand, all generations back. Where the hell have you been?
And he also bears the curse of generations back. Isildur's Bane. Mm-hmm. The line of Isildur, the Númenórean. They're like, dude, what? Why do we follow this guy?
Yeah.
So he has unnatural long life. He hasn't been here since day one like Denethor. And talk about more politics, Faramir and Boromir have been nothing but unbelievable rooks, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the pursuit and battle with Gondor.
Correct.
They've got the civilian and the Rangers. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, and now they know word's gotten back that Boromir's dead, right? So his popularity's through the roof.
Yeah, and Denethor's even more unhitched, right? Because he's like, my son died. Which is, if you watch that scene in the movie, it's heartbreaking because he just says, like, my son. And he makes it seem like it's his only son. It's like,
which
Faramir.
Kind of makes me think it's going to be really tough to get Gondor on the side. Do they try to reach out to dwarves? Maybe get a dwarven army. They have Gimli.
Yep.
They willingly came to the council at Rivendell. They need some sort of army because step one, I think, is they have to take on Isengard.
100%. I think that's your first goal. I think Isengard is going to be a big issue.
Yeah. Come to think of it, we get to have a rematch between Gandalf and Saruman, both as white wizards.
Dude, that would be unreal.
Yeah.
That's a pay-per-view I'd pay for.
Oh, and then, of course,
That'd be so sick.
Gandalf may even get Radagast up on here.
That's where the blue dude.
And the blue wizards come back in.
Okay, blue wizards come back. Oh, I'm sorry. Keep going.
I was going to say, he was going to call account as the new head of the order.
He has to. Yeah, and he's now respected. You know what I mean? Well, he was respected before, but,
and
now
he
an
willingly
actual...
chose not to be head of the order, but now he has to
Now
be.
he's the masthead. But no, I think that's a great point to bring up the dwarves because Gandalf gave him a token, baby. He's going, I took care of your Balrog, right? Go back to the mines. You're fine. You know what I mean? You got a little bit of a orc.
There's goblins there.
Goblins. Gosh, yeah.
So you're going to have to take care of those.
Problems, but for the most part, the big bad is gone.
Yeah.
So I think maybe he does have a bargaining chip with the dwarves
Yeah.
and saying, I think this is in your best interest. Let's see if we can round up enough of the families. Because dwarves are almost like nomad at this point. Mm-hmm. They kind of showed a little bit in The Hobbit, but you know, they have bands in these different mountains, but they're not as powerful and great as they used to be.
Well, here's the thing. I think Legolas and Gimli are going to be instrumental because really you need elves and dwarves. They're not going to want to fight side by side together. But if you have Legolas and Gimli go together to both places, telling them of the importance of it, it might unite them.
And you get the Mirkwood elves involved too.
Yep.
Because you have Galadriel, who already gave her help.
Lothlorien. Yeah. So, and Mirkwood, that's where you pick up Radagast, because you're going right through his woods.
Brilliant, Mark. Brilliant. I freaking love it. Yes, you're 100% correct. I love that. Dude, why are we not battle managers, right?
Tolkien family, call us, all right?
Yeah, please. You know, I don't think we're going to get much like with Disney and Star Wars, but Tolkien, we might be able to. Rings of Power, they're still making episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Come on. No, but I think that's brilliant. I really like this line in which we're going down, because I think they would call a council. They're picking up Radagast. They're picking up the Mirkwood elves. Gimli then picks up some dwarven companies. And I think that would be more than enough to take on the rights of Isengard, right?
Castle Orthanc.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Is that the original name of it, or is that... Sorry to put you on the spot. Is that the original name, or is that after?
So Isengard's the region.
Yep.
Orthanc is the castle, the tower that he lives in.
I thought they renamed it, though, after he went all baddie.
It's possible, but I'm pretty sure Isengard's like Rohan.
Yeah.
It's the name of the area. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you're...
Butting up against Fangorn Forest and all that. I love that. We did stem away from Merry and Pippin. I love it. But I think we're good on battle plans, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's a good stopping point on
Well,
battle
yeah,
plans?
I think that's a direct result of Merry and Pippin not surviving, because
I think that's their best bet.
A battle plan without the Ents, yeah.
Yeah, I think that is going to be the best bet for men to go forward.
Because once Isengard has fallen, I think the rest of the story falls into place as it did, or most of it anyway.
I think
as far as battle plans go.
Yeah, I think we still have a little bit of an issue when it comes to Gondor and Aragorn coming into power, but yeah, there's some literary luck there too. Maybe Denethor's so crazy, he's still crazy, he still enacts all these different policies, even though I'm pretty sure a lot of Denethor's issues were not only was Boromir's death, but also Mordor's literally marching on his front gates. So I think that's what made him, that made him a little bit more crazier. But I still believe that I think there's something inside of him where he's going to snap. Aragorn's going to take the rightful place. I just want to kind of end that loop. I know we talked about it. I just want to kind of wrap that in the bow. Let's assume that, something goes on. We can go through. Aragorn takes that place. Aragorn in Gondor, Theoden in Rohan, and then Council Wizards, Gimli, Legolas. And I think they just two-prong attack both enemies.
Yep.
I think that sounds good.
Now, even with that, they got triple the army size, because in the movies, it was the War of Men. It was just the men that fought, right?
Yep.
So now we have...
You might have to work some math out, though. I'm wondering, this is getting really into the battle plans, and maybe one day if we get paid for this, then we can really work out the math. We get to think of, is them growing the armies in both Mordor and Isengard like a linear growth, an exponential growth, relative to the growth in which our armies are going to receive? You know what I mean? Because... At some point, it might just be the law of time, where so much time's passed, no matter what we do, it's going to hit a critical mass where it doesn't matter what we do. There's going to be so much force that we're just going to bleed down. That's just...
Good thought.
Where we're just, time is of the essence. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Yep. So, I think battle plan's going up. I think let's kind of maybe focus more on some individual characters
that were impacted by Merry and Pippin.
Yes, and I think another thing, too, is... Let's also assume that I think the Battle of Pelennor Fields is inevitable.
Yeah,
I think at some point it's going to happen. So when we say that the battle, just assume that in our made-up what-if world, that it goes down that line. Merry and Eowyn are going into battle. What does that really look like? Because Merry's no longer there. Eowyn, I think, still is going to interact with the Witch King of Agma. And
I am no man.
And I don't know if she gets her cool kill. If anything, she might die from that. Because a lot of the reason why she does do it, it's both in the book and the movie. Merry comes back, stabs him in the calf. So he doesn't have that,
Because he's also not a man. He's a halfling,
Yeah, and also in the books they mentioned that Tom Bombadil gives them swords. It's not Aragorn who gives them those swords; they're the daggers. It's actually Tom Bombadil, and they're forged from that race of men who become the Ring Wraiths. So, like, apparently he had the foresight to go, these Nazguls might be a little tricky on you. I'm going to give you, a little bit of a kryptonite for them. Here you go. So, I might be really simplifying that and dumbing it down, right? Lord of the Rings is such a rich history, and the books are so much.
So expansive.
So if you ever feel like, I feel like we're trying to hit the middle of our audience. If you've never read Lord of the Rings, this might be a great read or watched Lord of the Rings. This is still going to be a good opportunity for you. People who are really in depth can still watch this and just kind of pull their hair out because we're probably not pronouncing something or something like that. But we would love to hear more comments, so please let us know.
Correct us on pronunciations or whatever.
Yeah.
Or any other lore you may have. Yeah.
Yeah. Nazgul Kryptonite Blades. I don't think that's a sick name, but I don't think that's what Tolkien was going for.
No,
so
it's not the official.
I don't think so. But to get on that point, though, or to get off that point, I think Witch King still lives. And I think that's going to pose a huge threat. Where I think we're going to see a great big showdown between Gandalf and the Witch King, because I think he's the only other person in Middle Earth that could go toe-to-toe with him. And technically, he's also not a man. So
that's true. He's an Istari. It's a different race.
Yeah.
So when we say man in Lord of the Rings, it's the race of men,
specifically
not male-female.
Yep.
Rohan.
Middle Earth men, yeah.
Gondor.
Because, Eowyn's still technically of man.
Yeah, she is.
But she's a female, yeah.
I am. But that was the joke. I am no man.
I am no man. Dude, 16.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Witch King goes down. I think that's the other pay-per-view I'd love to watch is the Witch King of Agmar and Gandalf go toe-to-toe. I think that'd be sick.
Well, yeah, so I think that would lead because with, like we mentioned earlier, Pippin doesn't get the Palantir. Mm-hmm. Saruman doesn't think it's him. They don't use Pippin as bait to come to Gondor, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, they don't have no reason to siege Gondor. After the Battle of Pelennor Fields, if the Witch King wins, they will. I mean, that's just the next step for them, is to take Gondor.
Natural. Yeah.
So there...
Because they're trying to root and stem the race of men.
Yes. So there, if, for our fans who don't remember, Denethor snaps completely.
Yep.
Especially after the Battle of Osgiliath.
Yep, very much.
Where he thinks Faramir dies, and that's when he realized he actually loves his son Faramir. And it was going to burn his body, but he was alive. But Pippin's there to save Faramir. That's my point.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, Mark, for interrupting. You don't get one of the best songs to ever drop.
Oh my goodness. While he's eating the tomato?
You don't get that song anymore.
You also don't get to see someone eating a tomato in such high resolution.
Oh my gosh. Or with the sound guy was going crazy during that scene. He was like, bump it up like 15 decibels. We gotta really hear this crunch. Sorry, Mark. Keep going. I apologize. That just occurred to me.
That's a great point because Billy Boyd has a great voice and he sings a bunch of other songs. But
yeah.
So one of the people that Pippin directly saves is Faramir.
Very much, yeah.
From getting burned alive from his crazy father, who then would never marry Eowyn and all that jazz. So he saves him, but also, and like we were talking earlier, I'm not sure if this is in the book, so listener, if you guys know, tell us. But in the movies, he saves Gandalf from getting hit from behind by an Uruk-hai probably, or an orc.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. They make Uruk-hai a really big deal in Fellowship, and they just kind of never talk about it. I think most of them actually die because they are actually bred from Isengard.
Yeah, because they are the army of Isengard. So they're, it's Mordor that invades Gondor, so it's probably just orcs.
Yeah, I would assume orcs. Yeah. No, but yeah, so it's the one scene where it's actually right after, oh my gosh, one of the most beautiful scenes where Pippin's talking to Gandalf before this whole siege and is like, I'm scared to die. This is crazy. And Gandalf, which, oh, by the way, he just died and came back. Mm-hmm. And so he's kind of going, death's just another path. And one must we all take. And it's like, okay, strong words from a guy who came back from the other side. I mean, come on.
Well, he's also telling Pippin it's not safe. Go up to the keep.
Which, I mean, it is a beautiful line written. I don't want to diminish that. It's a great advice. But it's just kind of funny now looking back at it because it's like, dude, you literally just came back. Mm-hmm. Like you've been literally there and back again. A Hobbit's tale within this whole, shindig. So...
Which he lived many lifetimes in between,
Yeah, what is this guy talking about? Here's some Shire boy who's never, seen the outside world, But, sorry, I'm digressing too much. But the point is that it's right after that scene. Gandalf tells him to go to the keep. Pippin refuses, once again, probably upsetting Gandalf. But That's when Gandalf is dealing with all the orcs that are coming around him. Orc goes on his flank. Pippin stabs him.
Yep.
Just want to set the scene.
Yep.
Just in case somebody... Well, actually, Pippin never does. It's like, well, no. He takes out that guy.
Would Gandalf have survived? Probably. But, it's still a point where...
That white cloak would have went red, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's true.
Something would have went red on it.
It's an example that Pippin saved, someone, or at least had some sort of impact.
I think a very large impact, but with both Faramir and Gandalf, I think that's going to play a role with deeper politics going down the route.
Yeah, right.
And so now, do we assume Faramir dies? I think we have to.
Yeah, and Gandalf, I guess.
I think Gandalf tries to save him, but I think Gandalf's going to come in too late, which makes this way more morbid of a story. Oh, no. The only reason why Gandalf even goes up to the ceremonial burning chamber, or it's not a burning chamber, but the ceremonial
It's because of
chamber,
Pippin.
It's because of Pippin.
Yeah.
So I think Gandalf waits until the whole battle's done and goes, oh, wait, Denethor and Faramir died? Like, word? Really?
Yeah.
So I think they're both going to die. I think that's going to either help Aragorn, because now he doesn't have to deal with the ruling party, but might make him an unfavorable choice to the people.
Well, yeah, I mean, he didn't really become king until after he wins the war, right, in the movies.
True,
So-
but it's also, I guess he has an uphill battle. He doesn't have to worry about the politics. It's a bad luck where you go, oh, there's a battle, and every person in the ruling family just died.
Right after the king supposedly came back.
Yeah, it's like, huh. Dude, we're getting a Chancellor Valorum and
Yeah,
Plagueis.
a big
or Palpatine.
whodunit.
Yeah, a real big whodunit. Kind of move to our final point, which is Merry and Pippin do quite a bit even after all this battle when they return to the Shire. So Merry and Pippin go back to the Shire after everything's all said and done, the ring's destroyed, the powers that be are all in their place. They come back and they see that the Shire is completely ransacked by ruffians, which is really kind of funny. It's actual ruffians in the book. And basically with their battle strategies and everything that they have learned through their experience, they come through and they gather their own Hobbit bands. And they're like, hey, we got to really take this out. And there's this big battle of Bywater. So they come in, they remove the ruffians, which I think at this point they're Saruman's people, right?
Yes.
These are Saruman's.
They don't know it's Saruman yet. They just know they report to this guy named Sharky. And after when they find Saruman, then they realize who he is. In the books, he doesn't die after the Ents take over Isengard, but in the movies he does. Well, in the extended edition he does. Wormtongue stabs him. Mm-hmm. But in the books, he survives, loses his staff. The staff gets broken, and then he makes his way to the Shire and becomes kind of a crime boss. That's what happens in the books.
I actually never knew that.
Yeah,
I'm just still haunted by that extended edition scene. Talk about the noise guy there.
Well,
when he falls down and
do you know what the story behind that scene is? Really cool.
You mean the stabbing in the back or him falling on the gear?
The stabbing in the back.
I don't know that one. What is that?
Very cool because Sir Christopher Lee, first of all, absolute legend.
Count Dooku, love him.
Count Dooku. He fought in World War One.
Oh yeah,
or maybe it was World War II. Sorry, he's not that old. World War II because he was in our lifetime.
He was like the inspiration of James Bond, right? Because he was like just super.
He is the adopted first cousin of the author of James Bond, and he is based. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, because he's like this royal service or whatever they call him.
But I mean, he was Dracula. When he was 90, he sang a few songs in this heavy metal band. Absolute legend.
Oh, cool.
But the story behind that scene, it was originally written. And Peter Jackson had Wormtongue stabbing Saruman, and he goes, ah!
Oh, and it shouts out from the stab.
Yeah. And he goes, Peter, have you ever been stabbed before? And this is a story from Peter Jackson.
Or have you ever stabbed somebody?
Yeah.
Even more.
And he goes, no, there's no noises. You literally lose the breath from your body. And so that was the whole scene, because he stabs him. You hear,
it's like you're driven out of you almost.
And Peter's like, holy
Dude, that's when, as a director, you're like,
yeah,
I'll leave it to the powers that be.
He read the books every year and would, on set every day, would quiz people on their characters.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta love that. He's just the Henry Cavill of his generation.
Yeah, he is. Oh man, he's so cool. He met Tolkien.
He did.
And we're deep diving into Christopher Lee, but I have a passion for Christopher Lee.
Dude,
Sir Christopher Lee. Let's put some respect on him.
Yeah. He OBE.
Yes. So he's the only one in the cast that met J.R.R. Tolkien, and J.R.R. Tolkien gave him the blessing to play Gandalf if ever a movie was created, because Gandalf was his favorite character. However, when the movies were created, Sir Ian McKellen was about 10, 15 years younger, and Peter Jackson was like, you can be Saruman, and we want you to be Saruman, but we need Gandalf to be a little bit more agile.
Oh my gosh, yeah, because did you remember the lengths they had to go through with The Hobbit to film that one battle scene with him?
Yep.
Like, apparently it was just an absolute nightmare. Not like it wasn't a nightmare for him, but he was just like, he did all of his scenes, which were amazing, but like at that point, like,
so
he wasn't able to body, so it's like the stunt doubles, and it probably really impacted a lot of those fight scenes because Saruman's like literally whipping staff.
So they filmed in New Zealand, and Peter Jackson called him up and was, hey, we need you to play Saruman. And he's like, I'm like 95. You can recast it. I'm okay with it. He goes, no, you are Saruman. So they flew to England and filmed him by himself.
Oh, sick.
And he brought, not all the dwarves, but he brought the actor for Thorin and then a couple other of the dwarves with him to meet him.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really awesome. Yeah. That's super cool. I
just
really
so he could
that.
be in it, you know?
Yeah, he needed to be, but I'm just saying, like, those battle scenes would have been insane. Not saying Gandalf does anything crazy battle scene-wise. In the third movie, he does, but in the first two, you know. Yeah. And also, they probably knew it was going to be a multi-year venture, because by the end of the third one, it was going to be quite a bit. Yeah. Sorry, digress, but I really love that. I love that
Sir
so
Christopher
much.
Lee.
He's the man.
Look, I mean, he's got much more, so listeners, please, like, at least look up his Wikipedia page and just learn about him.
Or just watch Count Dooku and just let it just flow through you, man. Yeah. I freaking love Count Dooku. And he does such a great job with Saruman. He does a great job with everything. So,
but back to the Battle of Bywater.
Yeah, back to the Battle of Bywater. I think Sam and Frodo are going to be completely demoralized that they're coming back, their party in half, literally, without Pippin and Merry.
Who are both are Frodo's cousins from both
sides. Brandybuck and, Frodo's mom was a Brandybuck. Mm-hmm. And then, And
then I think his grandmother on his dad's side was a Took. They're a cousin on mom
once
and dad.
Removed, both sides. Yeah. I think this is going to demoralize them, and I also think Frodo is already dealing with a lot, and he's being very introspective. Mm-hmm. So I think when they come home to the Shire being in shambles, I would like to think that Sam, seeing Frodo in his kind of rough state, he's just going to take everything, and he's going to go, no, I'll band everybody. I'll carry this burden for you. And then he's going to be, the big cheese on campus.
Well, I think you're right. It's difficult for Sam. It was easier for Merry and Pippin in the books because they saw battle. They saw war. They actually fought.
I didn't even think about that.
Sam and Frodo did not. Sam just carried him up a mountain, which I'm not trying to diminish because the ring would not have been destroyed without Sam.
100%.
We'll have to do a whole episode just about Sam.
100%.
But they're not seasoned.
You're right. They don't have the battle tactics.
War heroes. Merry and Pippin are. They're only I don't want to say the only hobbits, because Bilbo saw some fights. Mm-hmm. But one of the only hobbits that ever saw really anything other than the Shire.
And they're also the two tallest hobbits because they drank the
the Ent water.
I think there's actual brew, call it, brew or something. But they were historically the tallest hobbits because of that. But I think the big thing is that you're right. There's gonna be a huge hole on battle tactics. I've no doubt that the Shire's gonna recoup from this. I just think it either might take some outside force because I think first off, Sam and Frodo have nothing but pull. They write one letter down to Rohan or any of these places, and they're going to come and help.
Well, correct. But it says in the book, too, I'm pretty sure, that as far as the Shire goes, because Frodo and Sam didn't want any publicity. And in fact, they got no publicity. Only Merry and Pippin did because they actually fought. I mean, they brought their helmets home from the war, right?
Yeah, and they're literally in garb full on. Yeah.
So as far as the hobbits are concerned, Sam and Frodo did nothing. But I think that's how they wanted it.
Yeah.
But you're right. If Frodo wrote to Aragorn, he would have sent troops in for sure.
100%.
Or Sam,
Then the Shire would have got it figured out. Mm-hmm. But still, it would have been a way different dealings without Merry and Pippin. Yep.
I don't know if you knew this, but just to kind of put a bow on this.
Yeah, I was about to put the bow. You put it on, man. Yeah.
After that, Pippin becomes pretty much the mayor of the Shire, and Merry becomes like the leader of the Brandybuck family. Like the leader of Buckland. So they're both kind of leaders in their own respect. I mean,
it's like the Thane or Thean or something like that.
Yeah, the Thane, yeah. And so they're very highly respected.
Yep.
At the end of their life, though, they travel to Gondor, and they are buried next to King Aragorn.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Which is pretty sweet.
Yeah. I think they just went through a press conference, Billy Boyd and
that's how I know
Dominic Monaghan, and they're like, hey, this happens in the book, so... What about real life?
Which I think is funny because both of them have been in other things, but they make Lord of the Rings their like whole personality.
Oh, I love it. You gotta love it. Yeah, and I think it is really big. Dominic Monaghan did quite a bit.
I mean, he was in Star Wars.
Yeah, and he's in a lot of the X-Men
Lost.
too.
He's in Lost.
Huge version of Lost. Yeah, he
Billy
went up
Boyd.
well.
I'm really not sure. I can't really name anything else he was in.
Yeah, I know there's a.
I know he has been in other things, but
Yeah, I
he's
couldn't name it
not.
off. He did sing in the Battle of Five Armies. He sang a song for them. I really like that song.
But as far as like other franchises, like big franchises,
Yeah,
none come
none
to
that I
mind.
can pop off the top of my head, but yeah, no, I think Aragorn's gonna lie a little bit more lonely if Merry and Pippin weren't there. You know what I mean? So I think that's also another thing to consider.
True.
But yeah, Mark, how you feeling? Think we hit all the points? I really love your point on going and grabbing Radagast and get the Mirkwood and the dwarves. Oh, it's brilliant, Mark. I think you should be some battle manager somewhere.
Well, I just love the Wizards, and I want more of the Wizards.
Right. You got to have the Blue Wizards in here.
You know, a couple weeks ago, I was Team Blue Wizards, so you know,
I had to go Winky, but yeah, I still love the Blue Wizards. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, so I think the next thing we're going to. So normally we do is we've done mix-ups where we grab some categories and everything, but this time we're doing a little different. So my wife and I just recently went on a cruise, and you know, while there's days at seas, they want to try to get as much activities as they can around the boat. And one of the activities is trivia. And we look in our app, and I saw that it was Star Wars trivia. And Mark, my shackles were up all day. I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta just hone it in. I know Star Wars. I gotta do this. Like everything's gonna go great.
the Force was with you all
The
day.
Force was with me. Oh, not a disturbance in sight. Bad day to be a disturbance in the Force. I wasn't having it, right? I was going in there confident, all get out. And I'm not going to lie.
Targeting system down, just using the Force. Yeah.
Yes, and I was a little nervous when I first went in because I was like, they're probably going to try to cater it to, you know, everybody, right? So they're going to have some silly answers. And I was a little nervous it was going to be a little too much on that. But I'm not going to lie, I was very impressed. They had their fair share of easy answers, but there's some of these where they're downright, like, I had to really dig in the depths of my soul for some of these answers. So, with that being said, Mark, I have the answers in front of me. Mark has not seen these answers.
No, I have
and
not.
We'll also do some editing just in case it takes some time, but I would love to see if Mark could also get a perfect score on this. Now, granted, I missed one, but we ended up with a perfect score.
How'd you get the perfect score?
So, like I said, my wife, Jenna, was with me when we did this, and it was by question 4 or 5. They try to, like, it's on a cruise, they want to keep it lively. And we were in this kind of like this dining room almost, but they had a little bit of theater where the person was asking the questions, or a little theater stage. And she goes, first person to run up there and do the wobble in front of everybody gets an extra point. And Jenna, without even, like, I don't think my heart even, like, had it beat. She was just out of her chair, ran up and started doing it. So our team got the extra point, which is so funny because then she came back. She goes, I knew I would be absolutely no help on this quiz. But I know for a fact this is going to matter, and it 100% did because we ended up getting a perfect score.
Yeah.
So thank you, Jenna. Appreciate it.
That's dedication right there.
Oh, so, I mean, you marry up, but that was like, whoa.
Yeah.
She got me a point in Star Wars trivia. Woo, baby.
Yeah.
That's keep it right there. So, Mark.
I'm ready.
Question 1. Often referred to as Baby Yoda, who is the Mandalorian's childlike companion? What's his name?
Grogu.
Correct. Nice. Now, I just realized, do you want me to tell you the one I got wrong before I ask it, or do you want me to just go the whole way and you can
just
guess
go,
which
no,
one?
go the
I'll
whole
go
way.
the whole way,
Yeah.
and you can guess which one.
Yeah.
And also, I will say, there's some shenanigans on here.
Okay.
There's some ones where I was like, oh my gosh. What is Finn's Stormtrooper number?
So it's FN. That's where the Finn comes from. And I want to say it's FN 127. There's a 7 in there, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
FN 87.
So I'm giving you looks. Sorry. But if you want, you can just solidify it in. Totally up to you. You're close.
FN 287.
Okay.
Did I already say that? No. Okay.
Oh, no, it's not right, but you are crazy close. So it's FN 2187.
Ah, see, I knew
So
I had that.
it's 4 digits.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I knew FN because that's where Finn came from.
Yep. Okay, next one. Boba Fett's ship's name.
Razor Crest. Oh no, that's Mandalorian.
That's the Mandalorians.
Slave 1 is, but
Yeah.
it's
They didn't do the corrected version. Just Slave 1 as is in the movie. This horned being has a double blade lightsaber.
yeah. So that's Darth Maul.
100%. Easy. Who built C-3PO?
Anakin Skywalker.
Nice. The name of Han Solo and Chewie's ship.
Millennium Falcon.
Yeah. See, this is there's some other one.
Falcon, whatever.
This is what the Death Star plans were nicknamed.
Stardust.
Yeah, that is when I knew. I was like,
oh yeah,
we're not in Kansas anymore.
That one's from Rogue One.
Yeah.
Which, holy crap, that's a good one.
We are not in Tatooine anymore.
No, we are.
I love that one.
We're in the cantina now, baby.
Right when I felt that gas going, I was sitting there going, you know what I mean? Like, let's keep this train freaking chugging because it keeps getting better. Who is, and she kind of named it weird, but they say the female version of Yoda. But there's a female of Yoda's species that is on the council. What's her name?
Master Yaddle.
Nice. Also, Yoda related, what planet does Yoda go to in his recluse state?
That would be Dagobah.
Mm-hmm. Han Solo gets frozen in what material?
Carbonite. Yeah. I almost said kryptonite.
Yeah. Hey, we're not talking about the swords that Token so cleverly named. Carbonite. Yep, you're right. Who adopts Leia?
The Organas. Bail Organa.
If you get the wife's name, she said there's extra points for the wife. It wasn't really extra points, but she was like, she said something funny along the lines like, you can get the wife's name, like, just I'll give you your award right now.
I do not know the wife's name.
Yeah, but you got it right.
But it's Bail Organa.
Family.
Yeah,
Bail
it's
Organa
of Alderaan. Yeah.
Luke loses a hand. Was it his left hand or his right hand?
Ooh, that's a good one. Think about it for a second.
I had to do a little bit of movie magic here.
I think it's his right hand.
Yeah. Got it. Because he loses his lightsaber.
Yeah.
That was the only reason why.
I was going to say he's right-handed. Yeah.
Yep. All right. This one, complete this quote. This is the...
Oh, that's the quote? This is the...
Mm-hmm.
Is it like one word? Or is it,
just one word. Ooh, throwing you off?
This is the...
Yeah. Maybe say it quicker.
This is the...
Also say it very monotoned.
This is the...
Say it as almost like you have a helmet on.
This is the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was trying to get you there. I knew you had it in you. Oh, who wrote Star Wars? Or directed it? Too.
Yeah. Okay. It's
creator of Star Wars is, I think, a better term.
Yeah, it's George Lucas. Yeah.
Yep. This is the planet Padme is from.
Naboo.
Yep. This person becomes Darth Vader.
Anakin Skywalker?
Yeah,
that's a double.
Answer.
Yeah,
I don't like that. I didn't like that either when she said it. What species is Chewbacca?
Wookiee.
I wish they would have asked what planet. You know what I mean?
Kashyyyk.
Kashyyyk. You're like, oh yeah. There's some better ones there. All right. So, who tries to transmit the plans of the Death Star inside of a droid?
Who tries to transmit the plans to the Death Star inside of a droid? Oh, Princess Leia, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sand planet where most of Star Wars takes place. Anakin's homeworld.
Yeah, Tatooine.
Nice. Luke Skywalker's lightsaber color.
It depends on what movies you're talking about.
This is the biggest. This was a huge one people argued. I will say specifically Luke Skywalker's lightsaber.
If you're saying specifically Luke's, then it's green.
Constructed by Luke.
Because he made it. But
Correct.
his first one was his father's, which was blue.
Yeah.
But it was his.
Yeah. This is where I got a lot of people. The shackles were up here. And I realized that it was trying to be kind of a trick question. Because also, after if someone got a perfect score, then there was a tiebreaker. Mm-hmm. So we actually got into the tiebreaker. And I didn't get the tiebreaker. I actually lost, but technically we still won first place if you really want to get fancy. That guy got 2 highlighters. We only got 1 highlighter. If you really want to, that was a prize. You get a highlighter.
Nice.
But man, I treasure it.
Yeah.
I know who the top dog is. So the question was, who kills Jabba the Hutt? And the problem was that you had to stand online, and the first person who said it won. But yeah, who kills Jabba the Hutt?
Leia. She chokes him.
Yep. I couldn't think of it. We already said Leia earlier, and the guy who was closest was just like, Leia, right immediately. I was like, oh my gosh. I knew that. And I was also expecting, she's like, this is the tiebreaker. It's going to be really hard. I thought we were going to go, Samwise, something crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. My brain was going left field. So, Mark, overall, fantastic. The one I got wrong was the Finn one, too.
Oh, really? Okay,
yeah,
good.
I put
Thank
FN,
God. Yeah.
I put FN 812. I remember there's an 8. I remember there's a 1. I remember there was a 2. And I forgot the 7, and I just didn't
2187.
Yeah, 2187. Which,
this
at the
is
same
way.
time, like right when I saw that as the second answer, I'm like, oh my gosh, if it's all the sequel trilogy, I will do well, but not as well as I probably could have.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was a trivia quiz. How do you feel on that? There's only kind of one. That one stumped you. Anything else you kind of want to go back on?
No, I mean I got it all. I can't believe it. I struggled on. This is the. I guess I just never. You never. Yeah,
I think
this is the way.
And I think the way she said it too was. I think we also just recently were talking about the Mandalorians too. When we were talking about with like Slave One and Grogu, and I think that just kind of brought it up.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people were others saying it. But no, I think overall, yeah, Mark, you would have. I don't know if you would have had to do the Dougie though, or the Wobble. Sorry, you would have to do the Wobble.
That's okay.
To get a point.
I can do the Wobble.
I think you would have got it.
Thanks for listening. Please reach out with any questions, mix-up ideas, any lore corrections that we may have, pronunciations, really anything. We just would love to hear from you guys.
Yeah, any community feedback is great feedback, even if it's no, actually the swords were labeled this. We would love to learn that, and also while we're putting this out, we talk about so much lore that it wouldn't hurt to get some a little bit of feedback there as well. So also in addition, please follow us on Instagram and Twitter or X at the Live Laugh Lore Pod. That's Live Laugh Lore Pod, P-O-D, no spaces and no caps. Also email us at livelaughLorePod@gmail.com. That's livelaughLorePod, P-O-D, @gmail.com. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, guys.